I'm posting the link again now that we're live.
Yeah, we're like officially live.
Post it in a couple places. Welcome everyone to the very first ever of all time, the podcast Drinkin with. This is a new show we're going to do live here on YouTube. And each time we do it, we're going to have someone on that we think is unique, someone that we want to hang out with. And we're going to do it virtually. And we're going to let you guys peer into this little whiskey fueled conversation a little bit. And tonight is the first one. And we were going to start last week, but I threw a wrench in things because it was my birthday. And so we didn't start last week because we wanted Matt Porter, ADHD Whiskey, to be our very first guest that we sit around and drink with on the podcast Drinkin with. So it's me and Greeze and our guest, Matt. And Greeze, if you want to say anything first before we let Matt speak, I like keeping him silenced in that box for a little bit longer.
Yeah, well, I have some fun news because for those of y'all that are watching, the box will be removed later because we're going to be on ADHD's Whiskey's own channel a little bit later, and he has control over it, and he's not going to edit me out like Will has done in the past.
Is that the precise spelling of the channel, ADHD's Whiskey's channel? Is that how people are going to find it when we go to it later?
Yeah, it's 100. What Grease said was
ADHD's
Whiskey's channel.
ADHD's Whiskey's channels.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. Phonetical even or something.
Right. I mean, yes, that sounds. Yeah, we're all going to go over there. Here's the deal: Will and I have officially signed up to drink publicly live for 2.5 hours tonight. So there might be a few saunters. So if you're watching live, congratulations, because once this is over, we might have to hit the delete forever button inside the YouTube app. So we'll just see. But we are officially joined by Mr. Matt Porter, ADHD Whiskey, all the way from all over the United States. I think he saunters around to multiple places on any given day. Matt, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me on here, guys. This is the smartest move you could make because starting at the bottom rung and just getting this out of the way. You're like, you know what? If this is going to be a miserable experience, no matter what, start with Matt and it's only uphill from here.
It's an exhibition game, kind of, you gotta, it doesn't count towards the season, but you got to, work the kinks out a little bit.
Exactly. I'm like the third string peewee, football squad in one person that you just practice on. Tackling dummy, if you will. Well,
that's not true. That's not true. You've been a favorite of ours for a while, bro. Okay, so here's the deal. People out there, and we can start just chatting with this because I think people need to know who you are. So if y'all remember, there was this thing called Beagle Rare, which was essentially not a blind, but an infinity bottle that started. It was an idea and concept coming from Matt. He started it. He blended a couple of things, and then he literally sent this thing around the country to some specific people. And everyone that received the bottle was to essentially take a couple of ounces out of it, pour it up, do a YouTube show or a podcast or a video on it, and then you add back 2 ounces of whatever you wanted to do. And essentially it was, like a Instagram whiskey, YouTube channel, communities infinity bottle, for which at the end of it, Dixon Deadman was to actually fix it, and then you put it up for charity. So talk a little bit about, I want to hear more about it because you were kind of overseeing, like, how in the world did you come up with that concept and pick people to be a part of it? Thank you, by the way, for picking us to be a part of that.
Oh, geez. So I was driving a bus at the time, just a friggin' transit bus throughout the county, all over the place, like a professional driver. So good. They told me I was the best that they had ever seen. And I was like, there's more where that came from. Watch me drink whiskey, not on the bus. But so These were the days were pretty long, especially. I mean, driving a bus any amount of time is too long. But I drove this bus with one earbud in, just one earbud into my pocket with the old string, and I listened to whiskey stuff. It's like 6 hours a day on the bus. So I was just driving. I was multitasking just so well. But
so like a full work day for you was 6 hours?
Well, I mean,
see,
so
I'm telling you, dude.
Well, not everybody can work 12.
Government job, Matt, or
sounds so professional.
Well, it was. I would have liked to work more, but I couldn't. Okay, it wasn't a great job. Yeah, and sometimes they had breaks in the middle of the day, so it wasn't even 6-hour shifts. It was a pain in the butt.
Right.
But thanks for making me feel like I didn't even work.
No, here's the deal, bro. If I knew you were driving the bus,
I literally came here tonight thinking that me and Will were going to have it out.
Oh no, I knew that this is what was going to happen the whole time.
We're 6 minutes in, and I'm all Will. I'm Team Will. #Fire Greeze. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, you're here specifically to continue. This is actually an interview process to eventually replace the grease.
Shouldn't have told me that.
Oh, sorry. You'll mess it up.
Sweating bad now.
Yeah.
Tell me something that is your problem area. That's a bad question for me. Because that's literally my problem area.
Yeah.
And they don't like that answer. I tried it a few times.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I drive this bus and I listen to whiskey stuff. Again, my ear pod thingy. So I listen to you guys constantly. I listen to, this is my bourbon podcast. It's Bourbon Night, Bourbon Junkies, all these YouTube channels and podcasts while I drove the bus. And I mean, mind wanders and stuff when I'm completely focused on the road, obviously. But then I just started thinking like, hey, would it be cool for all these channels and podcasts to do something together? And then I went home that night and realized it was a dumb idea because I had it planned in my head. Like, this is going to be an infinity bottle through all these channels. And then I got home and I was like, that's a dumb idea, Porter. Just go to bed and drive the bus. And then I had like a few pours, and then the idea seemed really good again.
Right.
So I sent the message out to you guys and everybody else, including Dixon. And then when I woke up in the morning, I woke up to a notification from Dixon saying, let's do it. So he was the first one to respond. And I was like, oh, I guess we're serious now. So,
yeah, because he's the only guy that wakes up in that group before 8 a.m.
Yeah, he's got to go for his runs,
Yeah, he's got marathons to train for. He's got grass to cut at the end. Like he does all that.
Yeah, so yeah, he's streamlined to say the least. Yeah, and just
are you talking about like
aerodynamic?
Physique? Like he's like a straight line, like he's thin. So
it was more of just a compliment in general, saying that like
Grease, have you never heard the term streamlined before?
No.
Okay, that's fair.
He's more of like an arrow, and I'm more like a sail, if that makes sense. Not streamlined. I could actually catch wind and push a boat several thousand miles if I were spread out far enough.
That would be longer than a 6-hour day, though.
I think you'd be surprised.
Pretty quick boat. So you send it, Dixon agrees, and that kind of was the beginning, right?
Yeah, at the time I didn't even have a YouTube channel or anything. I was just a guy who watched this stuff and was in chat, and I just thought it was a fun idea. So yeah, that kind of was just the first little thing. So I blended this bottle, and it was initially supposed to be like a 375, and then I changed it to a 750. But then I thought I'll just make a 375, and then people can add more to it as they go. And then I went to go like have it delivered, and the sloshing inside this, you don't fill things up halfway and try to make it quiet.
Right.
So then I just poured a bunch of other stuff in it.
It's kind of like me at lunch. Like, you don't want to fill me up halfway because I'm gonna be upset and just nasty to everybody.
No, you got to fill Grease up all the way.
Yes.
All to the top, I'd imagine. Mm-hmm. No, so that was it. And then it made its rounds, and Dixon got it, and then we raffled the bugger, and so cool. So such a cool experience, and I was really surprised everybody got on board, and really surprised just the response from it was really, really positive, and just a really super cool experience that made quite a bit of money for St. Jude's, which was
That's awesome. Always a great organization to support as well.
Didn't that bottle go for like over $600 or something?
That one did, and then there was that was just for like a 200 milliliter, it's like the remains with a label on it, and and then other bottles were raffled, and it was over $3,000 was made that night,
that's incredible. So when we do like our virtual bar nights in our town halls, we always like to start off with what we're drinking. And if you're not drinking already, you need to go ahead and pour something. But this is putting you on the spot literally right now. What are you drinking, Matt?
Nothing.
No.
I'll have to get one.
That face looks like you just hit something high proof. Or is that just your normal, like, I just shot whiskey face?
That was my 99 proof face. Wait.
So is
Great face.
Is that like Ezra Brooks 99? Is that what you got? Was that
Remus? There's a little bit of Remus. Remus repeals that 99. I don't even know.
It was wild turkey.
That was so close.
With a couple drops of water in it just to take the edge off.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, what the hell should I drink? What are you guys drinking? Maybe I can play a little match game.
Well, Greeze signed us up for the long haul tonight, like a marathon, not a sprint. So I'm starting off with Eagle Rare. So I don't. I first grabbed a bottle of Stag Junior, and I was like, nope, not. This is not where I need to start. So just a little. It's a healthy pour of Eagle Rare. You know.
Heck yeah.
That's a great thing, Will, and I commend you for that decision. And
you are dumber than a bag of hammers, aren't you?
I think I should have gone that route. However, we're going 124.6 on the old collard greens from our pick we did for Southern Whiskey Society.
Is that a rye?
Yeah, it's a rye.
That's a high proof wheel of rye. My word.
It's very good. It stole the show out of the 4 barrels that we picked of Willet. We had 2 ryes and 2 bourbons, and this just took it for everybody.
So, folks, you heard the proof of what Grease is drinking. I want people to start putting in the comments over under time that Grease makes it this evening.
What do you mean
minutes.
He makes it?
Like that you're coherent. Let's put it that way. I mean, that's probably actually a little generous too, because that could be 10 minutes from now. Yeah. So what do you got? What do you got, Matt? You still trying to decide? Grab that bottle.
We'll do an old Carter American Batch 4.
Ooh. I haven't had too much of the old Carter stuff.
You're a big fan, I see, though.
Of the old Carter?
Yeah.
Their stuff's good. They're so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had too.
Tell us why you like it.
America.
Okay, fair.
Sorry. Every time you pull the cork out of an American whiskey, that's what's out of your mouth. Just saying.
Is that a thing that you normally do that? Like you just
every single time.
Grease is a big fan.
I didn't notice that. I don't pay attention to details, dude. My wife came home the other day and she had done like this curl thing treatment or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Sounds really
dude,
good.
I made it 3 days without saying anything. Let me go ahead and tell you something, buddy. Okay.
It's bad.
It was not a good situation to be in. It was not. You're not going to live past that. You're not going to. It was just bad. It took me 3 weeks to recover.
So you didn't notice. Is what happened? You didn't notice the hairdo?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't notice details, and then I mean,
or words.
Every time you pop a cork and you say America, like,
but not. It has to be a bourbon or an American whiskey.
Okay. Well, in my head, I would have been like, yeah, of course he says America. You know what I mean? Like, I don't necessarily know. I would have said that's.
It's America's only native spirit, bourbon. So every time you pull the cork out, a little bit of red, white, and blue, a little bit of freedom comes out with it, and it's our duty to every time just let ourselves know in remembrance.
Kind of like when I say like just amen, because I say amen a lot.
Oh yeah, that's good too. I like that. I spilled that all over my floor.
You spilled the whiskey all over your floor?
You just spilled it all over the floor?
I've not been a great pourer lately. And I don't even know how that happened.
I think you pre-gamed on a different show.
No, sir. I came in here so dull and unwitty. We'll get better as the night rolls on.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
It's the liquid wit.
I feel like we should shoot something. Not with a gun, but like just with like a, these.
I think everyone knew what you were saying, but then you made us all question by giving us an alternative, and we're like, well, maybe he really did mean the alternative when you said, because you like had to stop yourself.
You're saying like it's context clues?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I've met Will before, and he doesn't even know it.
Where did we meet?
This was
the catfish thing?
No. This was different.
There was a Catfish Whiskey Society that Will was a part of for about a hot minute.
You might not remember me. I looked a little bit different at the time. Memphis, Bass Pro Shops Hotel, valet.
What?
I was doing some shady work, borrowing cars from people that were Val, and it was like the weekend of like Mayweather's birthday party, I think.
Yeah.
And I borrowed your car for a little while. I had to. I'm so sorry.
Wait, okay.
No, he's making a joke about he's saying he was the valet. Okay.
Right. The crazy valet, dude. I thought we were.
You're leading me down the path for a minute. I'm like, I really believe you on this.
No, it was a weird circle I was running in at the time, and we just had to borrow cars.
Yeah, you just needed it. You just needed it for a minute.
You were you love box, which was smart.
I tipped well though, right?
Better than most.
Well, that's
for people who've had their car stolen temporarily.
Well, I'm a kind guy. I like to play by the rules.
Y'all, we need to shoot something. We need to cut the edge.
My edge is already cut because he had me going so well.
I know, dude. I was like, holy crap, dude. Is he really the valet driver that y'all are questioning?
Then I'm really trying to think. I'm like, could it be him? I really don't think so.
I can't remember it. Like there's an episode. Did you label it something Mayweather?
It might have been. I can't remember. I've listened to it a couple times. I can't remember what it was titled though.
It was.
I don't remember the title.
It was literally one of my favorite episodes that we've ever done.
Oh, come on, Grease! You've never listened. You haven't listened to our show.
I used to listen to every show so that I would know what people are talking about when they send me messages
like that little anecdote.
What's up, Shark Man? I'm like, Shark Man? I don't know what Shark Man is unless. Oh yeah, I told this story about a shark, about me riding it off into the sunset.
So I actually told myself that if I were to ever meet Will, I would say thank you for all that you do.
Well, you're meeting me now. It's the point of drinking with.
That's what you told Money Mayweather, and that's what I was going to tell Will.
I mean, I'm basically the equivalent in maybe some field of the Money Mayweather. Maybe like I'm the equivalent of Floyd Mayweather at getting frustrated with Grease, right? Like that's the best analogy.
You're like, you could kind of like, what do you call it? Like Bob
and Weave.
Yeah, a Winnie the Pooh style. You're pretty.
Oh, bother.
Oh yeah, exactly. So good.
Yeah. I'm rumbling my tumbling. All right, it's early and I'm already talking like Winnie the Pooh.
I know it's so early. Like we're only 20 minutes in. Hey, I need to shoot something. So I mean, are y'all doing it with me or am I just doing it?
Well, Bill Walker said he's going to modify his over under if you actually shoot, and there we go. So Bill, you need to kick that down about 30 minutes. I think he did 21:45, which is 9:45. I think I'm at 9, but Central 9:45 Central. That's actually very generous, Bill.
The heck.
Mm-hmm.
Grease, pace yourself. Remember what happened last time.
This is good.
And by last time, I mean 2 Mondays ago.
I like the way Grease looks like he's locked inside of a whiskey locker. That
I haven't been out of here in years.
He's in the Gitmo of whiskey.
The hell's Gitmo?
Guantanamo Bay.
That's too soon.
It's dark, yes, but that's
I mean,
he's locked in there. He can't get out.
we're not lighthearted. It's not lighthearted comedy here.
No. This is cold hard facts here.
I don't know. I have to refrain, but I know a buddy of mine that worked there prior to it opening. I have stories. I will tell y'all later because he said, "Don't
in the 50s."
No.
Prior to it opening, Greece is you need to check your timeline of maybe like a specific sector.
I don't know. I get
Yeah.
I don't know. It's maybe 15, 18 years ago.
There you go.
Like 18, 19 years ago. All right. So we've got a real I want to hear about it because I'm giddy. I've been waiting for it. So Matt,
yes, sir,
was a public transit bus driver. Or I don't even know. Yeah, it was a bus.
America.
He decides to hang it up, goes full-time YouTube, and is crushing it. During this whiskey journey, there is a competition or something that the Bardstown Bourbon Company decides to do, and it's called like the top whiskey taster. Is that what it's called? Competition
of the world.
Yes. So here's the deal.
Now is this like a World Series kind of thing where it's like we claim the world, but
yes. Yeah.
No.
When you're first, Will, you get to just claim it.
Okay.
It was an open invite. Okay. So I don't know how far the word spread, but I would imagine there were probably people on the International Space Station shooting videos to get involved. And that's pushing boundaries out of this world even. But then
shouldn't it be called the Intergalactic World Best Whiskey Taster?
Technically, yeah. But it doesn't sound as good.
Yeah. Used to say.
Before we get into that, I do have a question because somebody brought it up.
Before we got into it, you pitched it.
I know, but this intergalactic thing made me remember that somebody said that there was a dog that went to space, and I don't remember a dog. I remember a monkey going to space. Do y'all know anything about a daggum dog going up there?
Mm-hmm.
You do?
No. I think I heard no. Sounds. I mean, it sounds like it happened.
I just feel like there would be an obvious dominant world breed. You know what I mean? Like, oh, dude, you got a collie? Freaking dude, that collie's awesome, dude. Collies have been in space, bro.
Listen, when I was little, I wanted to be an astronaut. Not kidding. My brother, way smarter than me, he's not a career advisor now, but he could be, said too fat for space. And I was like, could be basketball player. He said too fat. And we settled on bus driver. Collie, also in the same, there's no way they sent a collie. Too big. Not cost effective at all.
Well, here's my thought, because Grease is saying, like, is there like a universal breed or something that we would like all get behind? And this is going to get weird. I know that German Shepherds are technically German Shepherds, but they feel pretty daggum American to me.
And super smart.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and
but way too big for space. You can't send it.
You know what? You got to do the cost analysis thing that I've
cost benefit analysis,
something like that. Where sending a collie, weight versus smarts, the witty, just the overall brilliance, of the German Shepherd boosts its points quite high. Maybe
Melissa is saying it was a German Shepherd. She said it was the Russians, and it is a German Shepherd. And I think that we've been given the name.
Wait. Why did they legit send a German Shepherd's already a dominant breed? It didn't need help from daggum freaking Elon Musk.
They needed like a Yorkie to be like,
right, or like a Maltese or something hypoallergenic that ain't going to get everybody up there sneezing.
I don't think a Maltese is hypoallergenic.
I bet you people really would have watched like a pregnant kangaroo that was just about to give birth. All the eyes would be on that.
They'd want to know, is it going to happen mid launch? Like, that's a stressful situation.
Do y'all remember when that giraffe gave birth? I
think that's kind of like where his mind was going.
Yeah, First animal. Yeah.
Oh, I think this just turned dark because I'm pretty sure that the dog had a one-way ticket.
Okay.
According to
Did they
Melissa.
let that thing go out there?
To see how far we can go.
The German Shepherd makes sense now because if there is any dog that could possibly find its way back.
Yeah, they're going to be like, all right, we're giving you a fighting chance.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
The Maltese wouldn't even like break the sound barrier, I feel like.
I feel if you threw a tennis ball towards the moon, the German Shepherd might have a chance. Just to get there and settle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to throw it far though, which is a good chance you might because there's no gravity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like a t-shirt cannon.
All
Put the tennis ball in. Launch it.
I told you before, this is the best first episode of this you could have had.
I agree. We're getting into so many fabulous things. All right, so tell us about the world's best top whiskey taster.
Oh my god!
With intergalactic dog residue.
No, so I saw. I think I saw something on like the front page of Google or something like that. That was basically saying Bardstown Bourbon Company is looking for the world's top whiskey taster, and I was like, that's interesting. Then I read it, and it said basically just make a 1-minute video and submit it, and then they said whatever you could win. And I said, well, I'm a stay-at-home father who has nights to himself to make whiskey videos. So I did it. I just made a 1-minute video of me flipping a bottle and just kind of being a goofy guy. And I didn't expect it to go past that.
You mean like buying one at retail and then going and selling it?
It was a goofy video of me. I got a pappy and I flipped it. I flipped a bottle real fast.
Like a flip, like a flip. You flip it, like flipping it.
Yeah.
So
Is it like just goofy?
So the person watching that video was like, "Dadgum, dude, that guy's he's good at flipping those bottles. We got to have him come."
No, because it was edited. I wasn't good at it. I caught it two-handed, like a football, because bad at it. But no,
like you're like receiving a kick.
Right. I panic.
That's greasy. That's greasy.
So, yeah, I made a video, and then we were on vacation, like not vacation, but my wife's a travel nurse, so we're like always all over the place. And I think of these trips as vacations because there's, but we were somewhere, and I saw that they posted a video of the entries that they had received. They made like a highlight reel of them, and I was in the highlight reel, and I was like, no kidding. Why would they? Okay. And then I got notified that I was going to be in the regional regional competition. And we were living in Connecticut at the time for her travel nursing spot. So I was in like the mid-Atlantic region, which was the entire East Coast. There's like 10 people in there alongside me. So there's like 400 entries total. Then they narrowed it down to, I can't remember how many regional finalists, but I think there were 10 different regions, and my region had 10 people in it. And I got a perfect score in that, just killed it. Just I don't even know. I blacked out.
So what does a perfect score look like? Explain to us the process of that.
So it was,
I'm just curious.
Yeah, for sure. So they did originally it was supposed to be in person, but with the whole thing, it ended up being virtual. So it was online, and lucky I'm comfortable in front of a camera after a few drinks. So I kind of felt like I had an edge. That's what I told myself going in. I'm like, you've got an edge. Then I felt like I was going to win, even though I felt like I was going to lose. Math, that works out. But so anyway, they sent us 4 different sample bottles that we had to determine proof on one of them. We had to determine whiskey type on another one, a finish type on another one, and geez, what am I missing? What's another really obvious? Proof, age, and age on a different one.
Gotcha. So the finish, the proof, the age, and the type of whiskey.
Yeah. So
I guess that could be rye, wheater.
Right. Well, no, it was like bourbon, rye, Irish whiskey, or Scotch.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So there's 3 possibilities.
And then if you guessed that correctly, then you would get bonus points for guessing the label, for guessing the brand. So I got lucky and I got all the points possible in that. But then there was a second round, which we had to present a flight. So we had to pick bottles and present a flight to these panel of judges. And we knew that ahead of time, so we were able to prepare. And I was like, man, people are going to be doing a lot of the same stuff, right? Like, this is my flight of rye whiskeys and wheated whiskeys, like, or proofs low to high. Trying to think of all the common things people would do. So I just made mine totally different. And basically just was myself and was a goofball, and it worked. The judges liked it, and I got a perfect score and moved on to the finals. And
what was your flight? I need to hear.
The flight was called from
Charcuterie board.
Pretty close. From trickery to transparency. That's what it was called. That's what I called it. So it was initially, the first bottle was, you guys ever heard of America bourbon whiskey?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a $40 whiskey it's made by vets, so it's hard to talk bad about, but it's terrible, so it's really easy to talk bad about. And it's bad. It's aged for 6 months, but
it's extreme. I have one here. It's extremely young.
And on the bottle, it says the best bourbon you'll ever taste. It says that on the label. Which
is kind of like being the world's best whiskey taster, right? Like, it's a bold claim. You got to back it up.
I never claimed that. I've never claimed it. They
dubbed it. You were dubbed it.
They were there. They awarded. I mean, I single-handedly defeated 400 other people for this title, but I never claimed it.
Is this it, Matt?
One. It says, look on the label. It says best whiskey or best bourbon you'll ever taste. So I think it's probably on the back or somewhere.
Yeah.
So, but then in little letters, it says aged a minimum of 6 months.
America's finest bourbon whiskey made.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Never mind. It says made with pure American grains. Hang on. It's proudly made. Offer you the cleanest, smoothest, and best tasting whiskey you ever had.
Exactly. Yep. So that was the beginning pour of my flight. Do it. Oh, tasting notes. New grass stained Reeboks was my tasting note for that one.
Yeah.
Fresh shucked corn, grass stained Reeboks.
Like,
those are pretty good notes.
Are they like new Reeboks? Like, just got them first cut of the grass, or are they dad shoes? It's
a strong rubber, fresh out of the box, that you just played soccer with immediately. So that was my first pour of the flight. That was trickery. Then it moved up the ladder to the next one was the bottled and bond. We're getting more transparent. And then the final pour was Sam Houston 14 year, which is as transparent as you can get. It gives you the mash bill. It gives you all the information you could possibly want on the bottle. So like a consumer that knows what they're looking for can look at the bottle and basically understand what they're getting themselves into. Whereas the America bottle was, you just kind of had to take their word for it.
Right. I mean, but that's a brilliant flight. Like, I love that.
It's just up the ladder as far as like what marketing can do versus actual people who are trying to let a consumer who knows a little bit about whiskey know exactly what they're paying money for.
Yeah. I need to insert something in here. This is the first episode of Drinkin With, and we're happy to have you here, Matt. Thank you so much. But I did make this stream unlisted, and I just changed it to public.
My wife's been texting me. She's like, I can't find it, and I was like, this problem.
Grease. Great. Okay, first of all, Michael Williams said late to the party, miss anything greasy yet? So apparently this entire half hour has indeed been greasy. The whole thing was like, man, we could really, we could exploit this Matt guy. We can have him on, get him to promote us. And then Grease, being the good-natured American he is, goes, let's make it so no one can see it.
You probably saw me looking at my phone because I was looking for it. I kind of want to see what's up, like in the little chat room, I could be the additional viewer, and I couldn't find it. And then my wife was texting me, and she's like, can't find it. And I thought to myself, these guys are...
I told you it's an exhibition game. We really wanted to try this out with you.
So Okay, so 36 minutes in, the Greeze, you said, you know what? We'll give him 24. We'll give him 24 minutes.
So for those that are just joining us, go back and listen when this thing's finalized. Golly, I'm great.
Can we start over?
Yeah.
Can we start over? Hey, welcome to the podcast Drinkin With. This is a brand new show. We've never done it before, and we've got our good friend Matt Porter here.
Yes,
that's about it. We're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
Maybe this was
all right. So we're gonna catch everybody up. Everybody.
Thanks for making us YouTube publicly official.
Hey, I'm glad Dramhound has made it in because he's actually what called I'm assuming that's probably very presumptuous of me, but Dramhound is a gender neutral name. So, but Dramhound called my attention to it by commenting like, "Hey, where is this? Been waiting. I don't think that you made this public." And I'm like, "Oh, let me check." Dadgummit.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable with you guys yet, because otherwise I would have been like, "Hey, what's going on with this? This is a bunch of BS."
Bree started a text thread with us so that we could communicate here, and
I just got notified. You guys are live.
I'm so good at this. I'm extremely good. And our listeners and our viewers are going to be like, they had technical difficulties again and they're 40 minutes late. I've been pounding whiskey for 40 minutes waiting on them to go live.
This is why we don't go live.
The first half hour was not exactly on topic or worth watching. So yeah, maybe some people.
See, I feel like it's all downhill from there personally.
America.
Thank you.
All right. So you go through the first two rounds with perfect scores.
Oh my God.
For everyone that's just joining us, Matt is giving us this great story about how he became dubbed the world's best whiskey taster. And if you really are interested in how he got to round 3, watch this once it processes in a little bit.
Rewind a little bit. Only like 10 minutes.
I mumbled through it pretty quickly.
Get past the intergalactic German Shepherd,
pregnant kangaroo,
and you'll get right into it. All right, so you did the first 2 rounds perfect.
Well, Bill Walker says, "I think this means it's the under."
Okay, fair.
Appreciate you.
So the regional competition, perfect score, and at this point, I never expected them to watch my video because my entry video was not something that it was just super silly. And then this regional thing, I'm like, all right, we're doing it. And then perfect score, moving on to the finals. But the regionals, it was they had to deliberate.
And you got to know that those judges are like, dude, this crazy dude is nailing it. Like because if you're just a big old goofball, they're like, he's fun. We'll bring him in for a couple of rounds. It'll be fine. But no, you're destroyed.
It was so the tasting section and then the flight. It went great. There was nothing better I could have possibly done in the regionals, and I won by 1 point. Somebody else had almost a perfect score. So they're like, "Hey, we're doing the finals in Bardstown in November. We'll give you more information later." So I knew at that point that it was going to be me and nine other competitors. And I was like, I just beat 9 other people. I could possibly win this thing. This is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. This is not.
And you haven't gotten anything wrong yet.
Right. But the first round was just me making a video. So
I understand. Well, no, but didn't you have to? Well, you did okay, that's right.
Mm-hmm. So they had to select my video and then to put me in the regionals. But anyway, so I know I'm up against 9 other people. I see I watch all their competitions, their regionals and stuff. And yeah, they're like, "We're paying for your trip to Bardstown and we're going to friggin' do it." And I'm like, "To do it." Ended up driving instead of flying because I'm like, we left Connecticut and we moved in with my in-laws. And I'm like, I'm going to catch this virus for sure. Like, that's just the way this is going to work. Right. Like
Right.
I'm going to be like the hero in the movie. I'm like, let's do it. And then, so I've got all these people behind me also from my YouTube community. So for weeks leading up, every week I was live streaming, doing blind flights, just being like, it's a countdown to Bardstown. So I had all these people who were invested and excited about it. And
that's got a ring to it. You need to put that on a shirt, countdown to Bardstown.
It sounds good. That's the first time I've ever said that. And
I believe
probably should use that before.
Right.
Now that I'm looking.
Too late. Copyrighted.
It's not as good as
incorporated.
It's not as good as I wish I had a fish. You know what I mean?
No.
No, I don't know what you mean.
No.
I mean, sometimes you just wish you had a fish.
I used to have a fishing YouTube channel before the whiskey, so I know exactly what you mean.
ADHD fishing.
It was, yeah. People on whiskey videos are way nicer.
That's surprising, actually, to be quite frank.
Well, fishing people said, if you are going to make fishing videos, then catch something, idiot. And I was like, not that easy to go. Like, I'm making a video regardless.
I never saw those videos, but I could picture you in a like a fold out chair on the side of a pond or like a retention pond. And you're throwing it out there, and you've got the camera to your side, and you're just looking over there, just kind of talking, just shooting the bull with it, and like literally not catching anything all day. And that's an episode.
I'd get snagged on a log, and I'd set the hook like it's a fish. So in the video, it looks like I'm about to catch something, but no, it's just a snag. I've got just losing lures left and right. That's how we got on this one.
There was a public lake where I went to college, and the state of Alabama was very protective. Like if you did not have a fishing license, you were going to get in big trouble. I mean, it makes sense. But if you were out of state, and so I was, going to college out of state of where my residency was, it was like $50 to get a fishing license. Like if you lived in Alabama, $5. If you're out of state, it was like $50. I'm like, there's no way. But there was this public lake you could go to, and you could pay $2 a time you went fishing, and you could fish in it. And it was like a loophole. Well, I think it was actually just a big scam, because my buddy and I would go with a case of beer, and we would fish all day and have the best time. But I went 100 times over the course of my college career, and I never caught a single fish. So I don't even think it was stocked. But I paid $2 to drink my own beer outside.
Let's take the fool me once thing.
They fooled me about 100.
The 100th time were you like, it's about today's the day?
Well, I should have done like the break-even analysis of like, I should have just bought the regular fishing license.
We're making Greeze yawn over here.
Well,
Greeze
only been live for 10 minutes, so
he wants to catch a buzz. That's all. That's what's going on over there.
I'm gonna have to fight. All right, so we got to get back to it because we only have like 10 minutes left until we have to hop on your show, Matt. So
15,
right.
We're good.
Well, yeah, but yeah.
I'm a slow talker. So sorry.
No. You're good. You're good. So you go to Bardstown Bourbon Company. You walk in. You see the signs. You walk into this room. Tell us about it.
Okay, you got way ahead of me.
Oh,
so far ahead. I drove instead of fly.
Oh, that's right.
Because I'm like, I got to get out of here early and I want to get down there. I want to like stay secluded. I want to just be away from people just to make sure that I get there healthy. So I drive. Then I stop in Indianapolis to get a store pick because there's a store there that I've heard of before. Not quite sure of the area that it was at nighttime, but I was like, it can't be that bad. It's called the Rural Inn. Rural, right?
Right.
Not rural. No, not the opposite of rural. And it's like downtown Indianapolis. I take an exit, and I get in like a nasty car accident on my way there after I left the store. And it was like a horrible, terrible experience. And I'm like, this was the worst move I've made. So like, it was in a rental car too. And I was just like, this is just the worst decision. So it completely threw me off my game big time. So I got to Louisville that night. And for like 3 days after
you
that,
still drive the car, or did they give
no,
you?
I had to get a different one. We had to swap it out. But it was a terrible experience. But
Was it your fault?
I don't know, which is a weird thing.
Grease, you don't ask someone.
That's true. I'm sorry.
Something that was previously not public, but now is public. You don't say, "Hey, on the record."
Well, this is
actually your fault. By the way, Grease can't rent cars.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, he's banned for life from Hertz. So that's
correct.
So I do not believe it was my fault. I'm pretty sure this person ran a stop sign when I was making a left-hand turn and hit me in anyway. But what happened right after that was a person exited their vehicle and was screaming at me, extremely upset. And that's why I don't know what happened. I it was like a fight or flight thing where I was like, this person might be attacking me. Well, anyway, that person was a driver and he fled the scene. So it was like a hit and run thing, but whatever. Anyway, the point was
so it was not your fault because he fled.
That's the moral of the story.
That's the way it works. Get the person to flee.
I'm so glad you backed this story up, bro.
So I get there and I'm just freaked out, terrified to drive. I was going to go down to the Beaumont Inn and have some yellow-legged chicken, but I just didn't even want to drive. So I stayed in this hotel room just kind of terrified. But as the week went on, I got a little bit more confident, a little bit better, and ended up meeting up with some friends that weekend and kind of put me at ease a little bit. It was just a weird thing. I haven't been in a car accident in so long, and it's just stupid. But anyway, I get to we check into this new hotel in Bardstown for the event, and the friends of mine flew my wife down to surprise me, so she was there. So it was a great thing. And then a bunch of people who follow the YouTube channel were like, we don't care that they don't want us there. They just booked tours at Bardstown Bourbon Company, and 20 people from around the country just showed up, and they're like,
that's awesome.
They stood outside all day. They took tours, they ate lunch, and then they just stood outside to see what was going to happen. So a bunch of people came to support me. So I went there and I'm like, well, now there's even more pressure, right?
Dude, and their restaurant there is incredible.
The best.
It's so good.
It's ridiculous. I don't eat food like that.
I didn't even necessarily love charcuterie until I had it there.
I've heard the only time I've ever heard charcuterie was on your show.
It's because Grease learned a new word and it sounds fancy to him, and he's going to run that word into the ground.
That's super smart.
He gets chicken nuggets and calls it charcuterie. He's like, you had Chick-fil-A charcuterie, Bard? It comes with 6 pieces of meat and this waffled potato. It is unreal.
I don't understand why that's not okay.
It sounds delicious. I'll accept it.
Yeah.
All right, so you go in there. You got a cheering gallery. You got your wife. This is like everything what a Super Bowl should feel like, bro.
Right, that's what it felt like. But there was 9 other people who I rode the bus in with them, and I looked at them all, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be bad,"
because they just look like they had their crap together.
And I mean, they did.
Yeah, so, our buddy Matt, who is Aiden English on WWE, he was there. He was in the top 10.
Yeah, he was there sitting in front of me on the bus, and I stared at his beautiful shaven head the entire way there. And I was like, there's no way. And the other thing is I don't ever go into anywhere, especially in the last few years, that I need to look presentable or dress up at all. So I see all these people they look really good and they look all confident and and I'm 300 pounds sweater vest. I'm like, let's do it. I felt so awkward and out of place. But
dude, I mean, sweater vest could be that's a wild card, man. This guy's he's here. He's ready to party. You just don't know.
Sweater vest could be the new ascot, as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
You can take that one of 3 ways.
So yeah, we get there and we did a tour and everything in the morning, and then there was 4 different competitions. The first one was basically a tasting panel where we had to pick out errors inside of these drinks. So it's called triangle tests, where they give you the same whiskey, but one of them is tainted with a chemical. Say one of them was fruit, one of them was vanilla, and one of them was called a fault, which is just like an abnormality within whiskey that you have to figure out which one is tainted and what it's tainted with. And I did okay in that one, but not great, because the second part of that was giving tasting notes on a glass of whiskey that they gave you that was judged by the guy at the Stave and Thief Society in Louisville. But I think I was the only person there who actually tasted all the whiskeys to find out which one was tainted. So I was drinking all sorts of weird stuff. And then they gave me this glass and I was like, this tastes like Butterfinger bars. This is so good. And then they revealed that it was Wild Turkey 101. What the hell is...
Well, because you were literally tasting like just tainted whiskey,
right?
You get the one that's like, yeah, dude, we approve of how this goes out. Wild Turkey 101, it tastes like dadgum perfection.
And also, it was timed, and I'm slow. A doctor has literally told me you are slow, and I was like, okay. So I was timed, and I wasn't used to being timed, so it was stressful. I did okay, but not great. The next one was blending, where we actually had to blend different whiskeys together for Steve Nally, who's the master distiller there. So we had 3 different samples we had to blend together and then give him like a written explanation as to why we chose to blend it that way. I did really well on that one. Then the third competition was food and whiskey pairing with Peggy No Stevens. You know Peggy, she's awesome. Super cool. And I got a perfect score on that. What they did was they gave you a local cuisine based on your region. And I was living in Connecticut at the time. But like I'm from the Michigan's Upper Peninsula where we eat meat pies with ketchup. And so I had to pair white clam pizza with something.
You're like, I've never had this in my life. This is ridiculous.
So I grabbed the Maker's Mark immediately.
Yeah.
So
bring me up one of those charcuterie boards.
Oh, this is one of them clam charcuterie pizzas.
Yeah.
I have it all the time.
Yeah.
So apparently Peggy loved me, and I did. So I got a perfect score from Peggy, which was cool. And then the fourth round was a blind tasting of it was a glass of whiskey they poured you, and you had to guess proof, age, if it was a rye or a wheated bourbon, and see what else, if it was finished or not. And then distillery, and then if you could guess the label, you got a bunch. Like if you could guess the actual product, you'd get a bunch of extra points. And I was the only one who guessed that it was a Bardstown Bourbon Company product. So I knew I did well on that, but I didn't know how well I did in the previous events until they revealed the results, which they did, and I got that son of a bitch.
Yeah, he got that big old check mounted on the wall, which, by the way, before we even started this live, I was like, dude, that's awesome. You got that check back there. He's like, yeah, I take it everywhere I go.
Everywhere. Well, actually, I haven't done anything with it yet because I wanted to talk to Greeze first, who's a professional with the IRS.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I just thought that I would run it by him as far as advice. And I know that he speaks to them regularly, so he'd probably have a couple pointers for me. That's what I was hoping.
Yeah, I mean, I'd put it in Robinhood, bro, and just
cannot confirm or deny that this is financial advice. You should not take anything Greeze says. If any attorneys are watching, please call me. I need your help.
Yeah, no, I'd put it in Robinhood and just, put it probably just like a cryptocurrency that feels right at the time. Like, I don't know if it's called Doge or Dogie or Dodgy or whatever, but I mean, that one seems pretty
Dodge Stratus. It's called Dodge Stratus coin.
And that will fit in Robinhood. That will fit there. Like I can put
you just put it in your phone.
Yeah, I accidentally put $20,000 in it the other day.
Not bad.
Like in check form though.
Yeah, you just have to scan it with your camera.
Folks, this has been fun.
Yeah.
This has been fun. The only reason I'm cutting it off is because we're about to move over to Matt's channel, ADHD Whiskey. If you are new to us, go ahead and subscribe. We'd appreciate it. And we're going to do more of these live drinking with shows. Hopefully we'll have Matt back on. We'll have him live for like the whole time though.
Right.
It'd be pretty remarkable.
Yeah, half hour.
But this conversation is about to continue over on Matt's channel. So everyone, if you want to continue with us, go over there. He has some fun things, I think, planned for us because I was told I needed a Sharpie. That's not a Sharpie, Grease.
I know. I text my wife and I said, I need a piece of paper and I need multiple pieces of paper, I said. And then I said, I need a Sharpie. She brings me one piece of paper and she brings me this, which is a borderline highlighter. I
blame you though, because it was really your responsibility. But go over there, see why we need a Sharpie and pieces of paper. I think it's going to be fun. And Matt, what's the channel? Because Greeze earlier said it was ADHD's Whiskies.com.org or something like that. So
/Whiskeys.
There we go.
No, it's ADHD Whiskey, just like the name on the screen. ADHD Whiskey. Yeah, we'll have fun over there. I am so awkward. I'm sorry. I can't ever do this correctly without just being the weirdest.
Just do what?
You can't. Well, I mean, here's my question. When we go on your channel, is it going to be like public?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. That's all. I mean, that's less awkward than this is. So
that's awesome.
And if you missed the first part of this, folks, once it's processed, it's public now, so it'll be up. Go ahead and check it out because we had a lot of fun with Matt at the beginning and had some good laughs. We talked about dogs going to space and German shepherds and things like that. So check that out.
And his full journey with being like the best whiskey taster.
Right. Yeah. You get the first rounds, which are kind of the more important rounds, if you ask me.
I don't know. That car ride was.
That was live. So they heard that.
Oh.
So
I don't even know why I had to go there. So silly.
It's fine. We've had some dark moments this entire night. So that's it. Grease, you're going to have to end it because we got to get over there and I need to go to the restroom before we transition. So.
I got you, bro. We'll see you guys on the next episode with Drinking With. Love y'all. Bye.
Thank you.